I'm Edwin Miller, and I am the founder and president of SE Yard Solutions, where we focus on quality structures built on site in your yard, or we can pre-build them and deliver them. We like the on-site built as it provides a better quality, which is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be starting on a 10 by 12, what we call our value series. This is the minimum amount of lumber that I would want to use if this shed was sitting in my yard. We do have a cheaper line as well, because there are people that just want something a little cheaper. But this one is going to have 7-foot tall studs, so the overall wall height is going to be 7 foot 4.5 inches. We're going to have an overhang on the eaves. It's going to get double doors. And right now, what we'll be doing is just building the walls. We'll be framing the walls, putting siding on them, building the doors, trusses, getting everything ready to be installed tomorrow, actually. We're getting ready to do that. Should take us about 3-4 hours maybe. And I've got my helper, Ethan. We'll be framing the walls. I'll be doing the cutting, and we'll be knocking this out. And I may be doing some explanation as we go along, just to kind of give y'all an idea of how this process goes and why we build it the way we do. So let's get going. Have them marked where our studs will go. We've got these plates are going to be where our doors are at. So that's all this shed's going to get, just simple 5-foot double doors. I just put a straight edge on that end of the board, so we end up with a straight cut, and you don't have a big gap that we need to caulk shut. That 2x8 I was cutting, this is our double top plate. It also is going to act as an overhang. This is going to be on the inside of your wall. You have your 2x4 plate, and this hangs out over the top, acts as an overhang. Everything's going to be sealed off nicely. We'll set our rafters, are going to be sitting right on top of here. That provides a much stronger plate on top of it, keeps your walls straighter, keeps them from bowing out as much because you have twice as much. It effectively works like a triple top plate because it's 2x8 versus 2x4, so you have twice the amount of lumber in it. And it acts as an overhang, so an extra benefit there. So that's how those 2x8s get used and why we can get away with just using that as our overhang, but it hangs out over the top and everything's covered up. You get it painted, it's all good. There's no UV rays or anything really that hit that, so you paint it even though it's a pine board and it's untreated. It's, you know, about 8 foot up off the ground. It's not going to rot away or anything as long as the trim and everything on the outside is kept maintained. This process that I'm doing here is called crowning. I want to make sure the natural hump of the lumber is going to be on the top side of the rafter, as that is also structurally important. Because most all lumber has the way that the grain runs naturally curves one way or the other. You don't want it dipping down. It creates a dip in your roof. And it's also weaker that way. So you want to make sure you always turn that up. So these are we call them a truss plate, but there's a technical term for it, which doesn't come to mind right now. But this holds you have these little, those little clips that stick up. I will pound those down. We'll make sure that this cut lines up perfectly. We'll pound these down on both sides of the truss, and that is much stronger than they're structurally engineered. They're much stronger than like using a wood plate. These also work great versus using a ridge pole. These are actually better for the application that we're using it for because you don't have just nails holding it. These hold much more than a nail, where a rafter nailed into a ridge pole will. These will not pull apart over the years. It's They use this in when they build trusses, house trusses and stuff. This is the same type of application they would use for where they need a high strength truss. I don't have room for an actual truss press in here, which is why we use just use that heavy, basically a tamper plate that we made, and works pretty well for most of what we do. Just build your muscles. So here I'm building our door frames, and I will be using a truss plate on the back side of these so that it will hold up much better. This is why our doors, our wooden shed doors, are as strong as they are. They will support at least one human hanging on them, and they won't break, they won't warp and twist too much. All wood's going to warp a little bit, which is why we structure ours with a barrel bolts on the one that stays stationary, and then we put screen door braces on the one so you can adjust them. As wood kind of dries a little bit, you can always keep those straight. So by using these plates on the backs of our doors to hold the frames together, we create an incredibly strong door frame that even though wood does warp a little bit, we'll put siding on the other side, and this door will should last you as long as your shed will. None of that stuff where doors are halfway falling off 5 years later. This is where we create this 2x4 frame that we'll put on, that goes on the inside of it. And then the door, there will be siding on the outside of the door with heavy duty hinges to attach everything. So the entire exterior of the shed, where any water or sun can get to it, is all with an exterior grade LP smart side. And then we try and keep all of the white wood and non-pressure treated stuff a minimum of 7 inches up off the ground to provide, to make sure there's no termites or rot or anything getting to it. So this is going to be on the inside of the door, and all of this is going to be on the inside of it, and then we'll put siding on it, trim it out, and all that's going to be on the outside of it. So this is where I'm starting on the trim and OSB package, where these are all pieces that we cut here, and we'll take them out and assemble them out on the site, out on the shed once we get there. So this is our door header. We put a piece of OSB in there that brings it out 3.5 inches so everything's flush top, and it provides strength on that door so that you have a strong header on it. Yeah. So this is our door threshold. It goes out, protects the OSB edge. This piece is our, it's a door drip cap. It goes up underneath the door, and then it protects the top piece of that door so water doesn't blow in your door. So that's what these are. And then this is just a drip edge that goes around the perimeter of the roof to protect that, keep your shingles out, and help so that water doesn't seep into your OSB as quickly. So we just finished up this 10 by 12, and all we got to do is pack it up, load it on the trailer, which we'll be doing next, getting our shingles and everything loaded up, ready for tomorrow so we can roll out first thing in the morning. Got done building this 10 by 12 shed in the shop. We prefabbed it. It's ready to go for our install tomorrow. We have all our walls on here. We've got our decking, flooring all up top. We're gonna get there. We're gonna pull all that off, build the floor, get it all leveled up for them, set those walls on there, and get everything built. We used our 3D building configurator. So it gives you a line itemized estimate of what everything's gonna cost. And then it also gives you 3D renderings that you can see exactly what it's gonna be. It helps us really get everything built the way you want it. Just this one is a very basic shed, just double doors on it, shingle roof. So one of the things that we strive to do here at SE Yard Solutions is create that standard of excellence. SE Yard Solutions was built on the principles of integrity and honesty and really trying to be the excellence that we would want to have companies serve us with. And so SE stands for Standard of Excellence. And as you can see in our reviews, people seem to think that we have been able to do that for the most part. Obviously, there's going to be some times when misunderstandings happen, and we do our best to remedy those and make sure that you're happy, that you have that excellence that you're looking for in not just the structure you receive, but the service that we give you as well. So we'd love to earn your business. We'd love to get you a structure built in your yard with minimal disruption to your daily life, to your yard, where we can be in and out, and you can have a quality building that will protect your belongings, whether that's lawn and garden equipment or extra household items or anything that you need extra storage for. Maybe just clear out the garage. We'd love to be the company that you turn to for that. Today, we're taking you along as we install a custom 10 by 10 shed for one of our customers here in Azle, Texas. What we're building is just our standard value series shed. It's got double doors, a window, and we're going to be getting this thing knocked out, getting it painted, putting the roof on, and showing you a little bit of the process as we go. So let's get going. So up here, we have our door cut out, and if you'll see up here is we have our door jamb, where the doors will shut against, make a nicer, a little bit tighter seal on it. Then we have this particular door. This is on our double doors. This door is going to be the one that's stationary. You can see how our trim is set back so that the other door will close over it and it'll create a little bit tighter seal on that entire door. So we set this one in there first. We space it up off the ground with our trim pieces. Put one here. We'll set this door in on top of those pieces. Temporarily hold it in while we get the other one set. So make sure we set them on top of there. So the trick is to get these doors spaced to where They're still tight, but they gives it a little bit of room to move as the shed settles. Otherwise, your doors will jam up. So make sure we get this spaced right. We're going to about a 5/8 of an inch in there. And then we want the tops of our doors lining up top, so just pack them together to keep the spacing appropriate. Then just center them in our door opening. Make sure we have plenty of room between the frame of the building and the frame of the shed itself to actually move a little bit. And if how I move that door, so temporarily tack this on. Hold that in while I get my trim set. Issues with rain getting into our doors, we leave room for a little drip cap up top, which we can show here once we get through. But I spaced these. Again, I want about a 3/4 of an inch or so on top and about 1/4 on the sides. Do that on both of these doors. And that is it for the door set for now. Our top trim piece is going to stay off until after we get it painted. There's going to be on the bottom side of this, there's going to be a piece of metal trim that I had made that will come out over the top and have a little drip cap down. We'll show you how all that works. And that prevents water from hitting this and then going in behind your doors. We'll hit that drip cap and drip out over the outside of the door. So this stays off for now. We'll paint this separate, everything. The doors are essentially done. We'll caulk everything and get it painted. And then we're going to get rolling on the rest of this. Ethan is down here doing the trim and cutting some vents and stuff in, and we'll kind of go over some vents as well. And then I'm gonna get the roof done and get this thing painted and knocked out. So, we forgot me one of the pieces, so we have an extra piece along and we'll make it work. This, we just use a 7/16 standard roof sheeting, where you want to make sure, it's one thing I've seen in the shed world, you want to make sure that your grains run across your roof. If you lay them down here like this, that flexes a lot more than if you have it laying across the roof like this, where it's if we laid them across the roof like this, like some people do, you could literally break through that roof if you had too much weight on your shoulders, like shingles or something. So we're just putting this up here the right way and nailing it off per code, and then we'll get it so we can put our fascia trim on and get everything caulked and painted, and then we'll put felt paper underlayment in here and get it shingled. So if you remember in one of the earlier videos we did, I was talking about this 2x8 on the top. This is how that finishes out. There's the roof comes all the way out here, and this is all going to be covered. You can see how we've already finished the trim out up here, where that's all covered. Like there's none of that's exposed to UV rays or anything unless the sun shines upside down, which it doesn't really do. So that's the LP Smart side, covers everything off, and then we caulk everything up underneath there so that bugs and stuff don't get in there. And it finishes off that, makes a nice little overhang on the building for you. Keep rain away from the edges of the walls. So that's how that does. What I'm doing next is showing you how our venting system works. This is actually a great opportunity for me to explain venting appropriately. So if you look over here on this shed over here, and that the neighbor had put in, you will see a vent up on the gable side of it. And there's also a vent on the back side of the gable. And what that does is those are intake vents. Those are designed to draw air in. If you only have those vents, you have to hope the wind blows the right direction to blow through your shed. We also use those intake vents, but we actually position them in the right order so that air can flow through your shed. That's what I'm fixing to show you now. So all I do is I cut my, I have a little jig and a router. We're going to put our vents, we want to try and position our vents on the east and on the north side of the building. That's where you're going to have the coolest air. And what we're going to do, we're going to cut our hole in about 2 foot up. Gonna screw this into the building, make sure it's square. Because we got a stud in the way, we will finish cutting all of that out with the skill saw. You can see this has a nice little screen on the back. Help keep your bugs and stuff out. Let's put this caulk around the outside. Now air can actually enter the building, and then just make sure that we put enough caulk around the outside so water doesn't get in the edges. Especially these grooves. Just getting all this excess caulk off of my fingers so I don't drag it everywhere. Get some of these nail holes caulked, and then so we'll put one over there, and we'll put one up on the north side. What I'm gonna do now is get up on the roof and actually cut in the exhaust vent, which is this little plastic piece here. There's gonna be, you'll see me cut a groove in the top, and then this is gonna go over the top, right up on the very ridge. So your cooler air can flow in through the bottom, and it rises, it all naturally rises, and it can exhaust out the top. That's actually how venting will work for you, instead of you just crossing your fingers and hoping that it's gonna work with right wind flow. So let's get up there and get this done. The other thing I wanted to mention is the caulk that we use. This is a high quality 50-year caulk. If you'll notice, a lot of caulks, they say you need to wait 30 minutes. This is actually specially formulated to where you can spray paint it immediately, which is what we do. So if you see us caulking kind of as we're spray painting, it's because we have the caulk that's specially formulated so we don't lose a lot of time out here waiting on caulk or paint to dry more than we have to. So really high quality paint that we use, or caulk that we use, as well as paint on these buildings. So we'll go over all of that here in once we get ready to get going on that. Yeah, so on the windows, I'm going to show you how we caulk our windows to make sure that they don't leak, and then we'll put plastic over it as we before we paint it. One of the things that's somewhat important, it doesn't always leak, but it has a tendency to, is right here on our overlap, where you want to caulk everything up on the top side of where your caulk is going to end, because what can happen is if you caulk the window, your window trim is going to be up here. It can run down. If it runs down that groove, it can back into and get past the underlap, and you can have water inside your shed. So in cases like this where water can get in behind there, we always want to make sure that we caulk that top row so that water doesn't do that. And we just caulk real close to the cutout here so that the flange on the window will hit it. And then go ahead and get this window set. A little shorty like me needs a bucket to stand on. Get this window in. Just gonna make sure it's in here square with our siding. Now this plastic that I'm about to put over it is gonna protect the window so that when we go to paint it, we don't have to worry about that. At least if I can keep it on here from where it blows off. want to make sure that we get the same white reveal all the way around. The two sides on first. Like and comment on this video, and I'm choosing one person to receive a free stainless steel water bottle where you can mix your electrolyte drink mixes in, shake it up real good, and free hat. I've got an orange one and a gray one. So like, comment on the video, I'll choose one person to receive a free hat and a water bottle. Real quick, this is our high quality paint that we use. We also have a cheaper line, Sunproof by PPG. This is one of the highest quality paints that they offer for like a residential line of products. So we really like it. Found it holds up really well, applies smoothly, provides a great exterior finish for your shed. Just a brief explanation of the doors. So basically what I'm doing is we're edge painting everything, and then painting like the face of the doors. All this is going to get round trim. We'll roll all of that with a roller. We'll face paint all of that. Get up underneath the siding to get that bottom edge. You got to spray up. So you'll see there's lots of paint here, which is where you want all your paint to be at. And then we'll just make sure we get everything nicely. Then we'll roll all that with a roller, and you'll see it look great once we get done. Have a nice sheen on it. So one of the things I really like about using this paint is how well this actually applies. It provides a nice, we give it 2 coats, and this second coat we put it on real heavy, and it sets on there real nice, dries. It gives it a nice hard, thick cover protection. Just going real slow over that. Make sure it gets on there real thick. We don't want it to quite run, but we want it to lay on there nice and heavy. Yeah, YouTube. Yeah, I don't. That's why I just need to make a habit of scheduling. So we're back here at the window. You can see the plastic protected the window and everything. We'll cut all that out once we get all the trim painted to make sure that we don't get any paint splatters on it. Hey. What I'm doing here is getting the top piece of the door trim painted. What you'll see Ethan doing up top is getting that drip edge on the roof line, and that helps keep the water from hitting the edge of the roof, protects it as water runs off your sheets. Painting the doors. As soon as I get all this done, get 2 coats on it, we're going to hang them. Put hinges on them, show you how that process goes. So here we're continuing to set the doors, get the hinges on here, and then we'll put the handle and everything on. Racing out, or our nails out. Make sure that our screws are out. There you go. Now we just need to caulk our nail holes, so I can paint those here in just a little bit. So now we're gonna put our barrel bolts in. Gonna go on this stationary door. So this is going to be the threshold, so we don't tear up the edge of this floor as we bring stuff in and out of it. Now we're going to be drilling for this handle, which is going to go on the inside. You're going to drill about right in the center. Okay. Yeah, shuts nicely right there. So these are screen door braces with the turnbuckle in them. This is what's going to help keep this door with the handle, keep the edges sealed in tight. So we put this one up top. Now, I'm going to show you what these door braces are for. When we line that up, you can see how it our door's hitting on the bottom, but not on the top. So we're going to give that thing a turn. Now we did a little too much. Perfect. And that's what those are for, just to keep your... Works like a charm. So this is that door drip cap that I was talking about earlier. I'll show you how it works and why it's important to put this on. It's going to go under just like that. This edge is going to hang out over the doors, keep the water away from it. Gonna nail it here on the edges. Then we're gonna put a nice fat bead of caulk right back behind there so that no water can get down there. It'll all run out over the top edge here. one piece. Just have to make sure we pull that up tight. And there you have it. Want to know how you know if a company stands behind their product? Whether they're willing to put their name, phone number, and serial plate on it. We do. Not just another workbench or shelf. So this is that ridge cap I was talking about earlier. I'm gonna put it over the hole that we've got up here, and then we'll shingle over the top of it. Nails, so we have long enough nails to go all the way through the plastic into the wood deck itself. Another job finished. It's a great day to be out here in Texas building sheds for customers, where we don't just build sheds, we solve your problems. SEYardsolutions.com.
My first impression of the shed was just wow. Not only from the fact that they came out and had it up in less than 8 hours, fully painted to the colors that I wanted, matches my house perfectly, built in the built-in shelves and the workbench, windows the way I wanted them. It was absolute wow. I'm super excited. The use for this shed is a she shed. It will help me with my marriage and space by allowing me to do all my outdoor projects and free up the garage so my husband can have his space and I can have mine. Super excited. My experience with SE Yard Solutions was fantastic. From first calling the company, filling out something online, they called me back within 24 hours, and working with Irene. She helped me design what I needed and also helped see the project from start to finish. So highly recommend SE Yard Solutions.